Hello, students. Today we are going to discuss the story The Diamond Necklace, written by the French author Guy de Maupassant. Sometimes the story is also titled as The Necklace. As usual, we are going to discuss these points one by one. These points will serve as headings to the paragraphs of your answer. Setting an atmosphere, characterization, narrative technique, plot, and themes. The story is set in a lower middle class household. It is peculiar that while describing the household of Matilda, the writer has devoted more words to what was not there in the house rather than what was there. An example is quoted in the slide. This was done to highlight not only the discrepancy between the dreams and reality of Matilda, but also to show how deeply immersed Matilda was in her world of illusion. The atmosphere in the story is of dissatisfaction and anxiety. Dissatisfaction because Matilda had always hoped to get married to a rich man and enjoy the luxuries and comforts. But her marriage did not result in a change of her financial or social status, and this agonized her. The pain of the shattered dreams of Matilda is brought alive by the author by juxtaposing reality and dreams. For example, he writes, she had no dresses, no jewels, nothing, and these were the only things she loved. She felt she was made for them alone. She wanted so much to charm, to be envied, to be desired, and sought after. Now we come to the characterization in the story. There are three main characters: Matilda Loisel, her husband, M. Loisel, and Matilda's friend, Jean Forestier. The protagonist of the story is Matilda, and the whole story is woven around her desire to be rich and charming. The characterization in the story is both direct and indirect. Author has provided us information about characters but has also involved the readers to form their own opinions about the characters through their actions and dialogues. We find psychological depth in the characters. The character of Matilda especially evolves a lot in the story. We find that the heroine, who was obsessed with beauty and wealth, does not flinch from hard work in the difficult times which they had to endure for repayment of debt. She finally embraced the reality of her situation, deriving happiness and power from that one beautiful night of the party. Let us look at the narrative technique in the story now. There is a third person omniscient narration in the story. There are certain techniques of narration that the author has employed to make the story interesting, such as foreshadowing. Foreshadowing is a literary device used to give an indication or hint of what is to come later in the story. Foreshadowing is useful for creating suspense, feeling of unease, and a sense of curiosity, and emphasizes that things may not be as they seem. Example of foreshadowing is when Matilda and her husband take the box of the necklace to the jeweler whose name was printed on it. The jeweler, however, points out that the necklace was not purchased from his shop, thus indicating that it might be fake. The plot of the story is linear, that is, events are narrated chronologically. We find there is a time lapse of 10 years in the middle of the story because the author wanted to show the hardships and poverty that Matilda and her husband had to face because of the lost necklace. An interesting point about the plot of the story is that it is very similar to fairy tales like Cinderella. A beautiful young woman suffering from poverty and unkindness of the world gets an invitation to a party. She arranges for good clothes and jewelry with the help of a fairy, and everyone admires her in the party because of her beauty and grace. This event changes her life for good. Matilda is so much like the heroines of such fairy tales. But for her, the consequences of this party are disastrous. Instead of gaining something, she loses everything. The author has very ironically subverted the expected outcome in the story to highlight the realities of life. We also find a surprise ending in the story. In the end, we come to know that the necklace which Matilda had borrowed from Madame Forestier was a fake, and all their hardships were in vain. The writer ends the story with this disclosure abruptly, leaving the readers wondering the impact of this revelation on the Loisels. Many themes are explored by the author in this story, such as materialism and happiness, fate and consequences, reality and illusion, social class, and ambition. In the end, perhaps Matilda realizes that appearances are deceptive and happiness does not lie in material objects. Thanks a lot for watching the video. Keep watching for such content and don't forget to like and subscribe. Have a good day.